Right, and we are live. All right. Well, hello, Sonia. Very nice to have you join me this afternoon. Happy Friday to you. So glad to have you.
Same. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you for the opportunity.
Sure thing. So, throughout this month, I've been connecting with various professionals, specifically with women and professionals of color, just wanting to kind of highlight what you're doing, what you're working on, and really some of the challenges that you've run into as well in your practice and in our community. So, I'd like to start by having you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your firm and what you do.
Yes, sure. So, my name is Sonia Peterkin. I am an immigration attorney. I help people solve their immigration problems by navigating the US immigration laws and systems so that they can unite with families and improve the community. My main office is in Claremont, Florida, but I serve clients nationally and internationally. And I really love what I do. I've been doing it for about 8 years now. And yep, that's a little bit about myself.
Awesome. So, what exactly made you decide to zoom in or focus in on immigration law?
Yes. Becoming a lawyer, I wasn't very exposed to a lot of other areas of law. And being the first generation American, being a first generation American, my family having immigrated from Jamaica, it was the only thing that felt familiar to me. It was the only area of law that I felt familiar with. And even though I didn't go through the immigration process myself, I felt like I had a unique perspective and that I could bring value to this area. I'm able to understand the struggles that people go through and the sacrifices that they make to immigrate to the United States. And I understand even the struggles and difficulties in adapting to a new country.
That's awesome. I myself, my family and I, we immigrated from Haiti. So, I've
Okay.
gone through the immigration process myself, but of course, as a child. And I'm sure, especially in this climate, immigration is a little bit complicated, maybe even a little bit crazy.
Right.
Um, So, what are some of the things that you or challenges really that you are seeing in our communities as it relates to immigration?
Um, well, one of the things that I do, because our laws are ever changing. And so one of the challenges that I see is that there a lot of times are wrong information going around circulating in our immigrant communities. And it's causing people to not be able to get the type of help that they need or to be able to get the status that they actually qualify for because they don't know that it exists or they're scared to go out and present themselves as someone who is undocumented in order to get the help that they need. So they rely on information that's circulating in the community. And I think that's like one of our biggest issues. We need to be able to let people know that we are available to them and that it's safe for people to come and speak to us about their immigration issues and that we're here to actually serve them and help them and that there may be legal ways that we can help them to obtain lawful immigration status and they don't have to live in fear. I also work a lot with people who are victimized, immigrants who are victimized, and they're too scared to go to the police or to tell people about what they're going through because they don't have the proper documentation. But there is an avenue to help those individuals. Actually, the government has created a visa specifically for undocumented immigrants who are victimized, who have been the victim of serious crimes. They're able to actually obtain a visa, and that visa actually leads to a green card. But a lot of people don't know about this. And there's also the Violence Against Women Act that also helps to protect immigrant victims of domestic violence, whether they're woman, man, or child. We could use that provision of law to help them to obtain lawful immigration status. So I think these are the difficulties and trying to reach out. It's our job as immigration attorneys to try to reach out into those communities and provide the right type of information and to also gain the trust of these individuals as well.
I'm sure the trust part is probably one of the bigger challenges that you face.
Yeah, because like I said, there's a lot on the line when people immigrate to the US. They have their families, they have their jobs, and especially what we see in the media, they're kind of um, they make immigrants to be like villains, and they're not, right? So it makes them feel like it's not safe, or who is there that they can trust to talk to and reveal themselves as a person who's undocumented. So yes, gaining trust. Once I meet with someone, once somebody's in my office, it's easy to gain their trust, because I, like I said, I feel like I have a unique perspective in this area. And so I understand what they're going through, and I even understand the fears. So, it's easy when keep abreast of immigration laws, you're knowledgeable about what's going on, and you're able to relate to your clients. It's easy to gain their trust that way. But as far as going into the community, sometimes it's a little bit difficult.
All right. So I know for, excuse me, I know for my family, my grandmother actually started the process for her children. And when she initially started the process, I wasn't even born. And by the time we all immigrated here, I was 9 years old. So it was a very, very, very long process to actually do this legally. And of course, as part of my firm, a big thing that we focus on is telling people how to be proactive and to be proactive planners. So, how exactly would you advise someone who is either looking to bring loved ones to the States, or perhaps who doesn't have legal status currently and they're looking to change that? What are some of the things that they can do to proactively plan to bring their loved ones to America, or to change their legal status as they're working and functioning in the States?
Yeah. So one thing I would say to the person who is looking to bring a loved one to the country is to not wait. Some people are just waiting and they're not really sure what they're waiting on. But our immigration laws are changing so often that you would hate to then have to go through a more difficult process, or have the process be delayed because you didn't act on your case. And then depending on what kind of relative that person is looking to bring into the country, it could take several years, like you just explained. So waiting only prolongs the process, and it's usually not the best strategy. So I would say if you're looking to bring a loved one to the country, you should consult with an immigration attorney as quickly as possible, so that we can see, we could give you a timeline, and we could also determine whether your relative is eligible to immigrate to the US, because not all the time are they eligible to immigrate. And you would hate to waste all that money and time, working through the process, only to find out that there's something that would prevent that person from being able to obtain a green card and live here in the United States with you. So, not waiting and contacting an immigration attorney, so that they can assess your case. And then for the individuals that are here and are without status and need to obtain status, I would say that you should definitely contact an immigration attorney. Do your research, go online, look into the individual's track record and what it is that they have to offer. Some of us have free consultations, some of us don't. So you'll just need to figure out what works for you. And also, all of us are bound by ethics, and there is confidentiality whenever you speak with an attorney. So the attorney cannot report you as an undocumented immigrant. And if this person is working in the immigration field, it's very unlikely that they would do that. So in any regards, you want to contact an immigration attorney as soon as possible, so that we can see how we can help you.
Can you talk a little bit about, as it relates to individuals who are undocumented, how important it is for them to um, be and remain a person of good moral character and how they're functioning here and the type of work they're doing here. Share a little bit of that with us, please.
Yeah, that's very important because even if you don't currently have an immigration case, you may become eligible for something in the future. And good moral character is always going to be something that's going to be important for your immigration case. I recently did some videos and blog about paying taxes. If you're working, even if you're undocumented, if you don't have any status, if you're earning income and your income is above a certain level, and you're required to file taxes, you should be filing taxes and you should be filing them correctly because, like I said, even if you don't have an immigration case now, you may have one in the future, or you could end up in removal proceedings, deportation proceedings. And at that time, you'll have the ability to defend yourself against deportation. And you'll have a better chance of doing that if you have good moral character and you can show that you've been law abiding, you've been, a person of good character.
So, do you find that it is a little bit more difficult to work with certain communities versus others? Do you find that there are more challenges? I'm just going to say it, working, for instance, with the Black community when you're doing immigration related things or other communities? How does that play out in your world?
No, I don't necessarily think that working with the Black community is more difficult. I mean, I think I would say that it's more difficult to work with US citizens, particularly those who are born US citizens and haven't gone through the immigration process because they just don't get it. They just don't get the process. They just don't get why is it taking so long? Um, and it's funny that they see how flawed the system is because it's not working out for them. Like they can't get their fiance, their foreign fiance here as early as they would like to, but they don't understand how flawed it is also for other people. Um, as well. So it's kind of difficult to explain the process to US citizens, particularly those who are US born and have never gone through the immigration process and don't have a relative or family members who have gone through the immigration process because they're just less. I guess they already come with their ideas of how things should go, and like for example, I had a couple people recently call about the fiance visa process. And these were white men filing for their foreign national fiancés to come into the US. And they're just like, why is this taking so long? And, what else do I need to submit? And, they became very frustrated in realizing they had filed their own petitions, but just in realizing that the fiance visa at this time is taking up to a year or longer for the entire process, it was very frustrating for them. But like I said, a lot of times people don't realize, also US citizens that are not going through this process don't realize that the entire system is flawed and the entire system needs to be looked at and restructured.
How important are a person's finances? I know a lot of times when people think about bringing their loved ones specifically in the States, they're just thinking about the emotional aspect of it, but not necessarily looking at the big picture. And I know finances play a big role in that. So, talk a little bit about what that looks like and what folks can actually do to maybe put themselves in a better position financially to help their loved ones overseas.
Yeah, the immigration system is very detailed. It's a very detailed process. It will involve a lot of effort and time. However, it also has a financial aspect to it as well. So, our USCIS, which is the agency that the United States Citizenship and Immigration Services, is the agency that adjudicates the immigration petitions that are filed here in the US. And so they are funded from these filing fees, and the filing fees are pretty significant. So, just to give you an idea, if you're living in the United States and you're applying for, let's say, a spouse to obtain a green card, you're looking at about $1,760 for the adjustment of status application and all the other applications that go along with it, including the biometrics and all of that. So you have to be prepared to come out with almost 2 grand just for the filing fees. And then if you are going to be working with an attorney, which is recommended because of how the process can be very complicated, you're looking at some other thousands of dollars too, depending on your particular case. So yes, there is a financial aspect to it that you have to prepare yourself for. A lot of us, including myself, we offer payment plans. So you can, consult with the immigration attorney, get an idea of how much it's going to cost you because each case is different depending on your particular circumstances. And then determine whether a payment plan is available and how you could go about, satisfying your financial obligation.
Are there certain countries that you find that are harder for people to immigrate from than others?
Uh, no, not really. So we have a system for family based sponsorships. So, and this system is kind of divided depending on the relationship that the US citizen or permanent resident has to the relative. So, immediate relatives are spouses, parents, and unmarried children under the age of 21 of US citizens. And those individuals are called immediate relatives. And it's very easy or much easier for these individuals to immigrate than other types of relatives. And the reason why is because they're given certain advantages. Like, for example, certain things are overlooked, like if they have worked unlawfully or if they have overstayed their visa. And there's always a visa available to them. So they don't have to wait 9, 10, 11, 12 years for a visa. But in other categories, like, for example, siblings of US citizens, they have to wait. I think right now the wait time is at least 14 years.
Wow.
And you can find these numbers using the Department of State Visa Bulletin, which it categorizes each type of relative and it tells you where they are in the process of adjudicating the petitions for these specific relatives. So I bring this up because Mexico, or people from Mexico, their times are even longer than that. So they will separate different countries. Mexico is one of them, where their petitions or the visas that are allotted for those individuals are even less than the others. So for siblings of US citizens, for people from Mexico, the wait time is, I think, over 20 years as opposed to 14 years. So for some people from different countries, they may have to wait longer for a visa to become current. But otherwise, I think the process is pretty much the same.
Okay, awesome. So, if you had to, and just to recap, if you had to leave individuals with 3 pieces of advice on what they can do either to better prepare themselves to bring loved ones to the States or to change their status or really anything immigration related that I may not be aware of and be bringing up, what would they be?
Well, first is to do your research on immigration attorneys that you can reach out to. And then reach out to an immigration attorney. I think having an immigration attorney involved in your process is so important because it could end up saving you a lot of time and money. And there's a lot at stake here. With immigration, I mean, it's your family, it's your future, it's your livelihood. So getting an immigration attorney involved in your process is really, really important. And not filing anything before you've done that. Some people, they have this understanding, and again, because of some of the myths and misinformation that's been circulating around the community, they think it's just paperwork. And so they'll just, try to fill out this paperwork, not understanding that, first of all, whatever you submit to USCIS, it becomes part of your permanent file. And these things are being scrutinized by immigration attorneys by immigration officers who are looking out for the best interests of the country, not you. And so, who do you have on your side? You need
Right.
an immigration attorney to be on your side. So, and you need to understand how the information that you put in your forms affect you, because they gather that information for a reason. They're gathering that information to determine your eligibility for whatever benefit that you're seeking. So, I would say, I guess, if it was three things: do your research on credible immigration attorneys that can help you. Number two, reach out to your immigration attorney or to a immigration attorney. Number three, don't believe everything that you hear that is circulating around by people who are not immigration attorneys, and don't file anything without fully understanding the legal ramifications of what you're filing.
Those are great, great, great points. Thank you so very much, Sonia. I so appreciate you taking the time to chat with me and to give some insight on what the immigration process looks like. Before we close, if you could please let us know, how can people reach you? Where are you located? And what type of services can you assist with in the future?
Okay, so I am located in Claremont, Florida. You can reach me, or you can find me on Instagram, on Facebook. My Instagram handle is at SA Peterkin Law. You could also find me on Facebook. My website is www.sapeterkinlaw.com. And my phone number where you can reach me is 321-325-1125. And we would love to work with you. If you just give us a call, we could schedule you for a consultation, discuss your immigration matter in confidence, and then work with you to kind of to get whatever result that you're seeking.
All right, awesome. Thanks again, Sonia. Have a wonderful rest of your day.
You too. Thank you. Bye.
Bye bye.